Hey Mountain View, I hope everybody's doing well. I hope you're staying healthy, and I hope you've come to some kind of normalcy during this um, uncertain time. I want to share Psalm 121 with you today. This is one of my favorite Psalms. It always has been. This is one of the Psalms that the Jews would sing every year when they went to the temple for their appointed feast days. There are several of the Psalms that are known as songs of ascent, A-S-C-E-N-T, going up songs, if you will. So they would literally sing these as they looked toward going to the temple on the Temple Mount to worship. And I was thinking about that during this stay-at-home time. So I want to encourage you by giving you three things to look for in Psalm 121. Number one, I just wrote it down this way: pay attention to your position. And the psalmist starts by saying, I will lift up my eyes to the mountains or to the hills. And there's something to be said for lifting up our eyes. A lot of times in the Old Testament, God would say to his people, how can you be stiff-necked? He would call his people literally, you are stiff-necked people. You're stubborn. And if someone is stiff-necked, they're unable to bow their head. They're also unable to look up. So the psalmist says, don't be stiff-necked. He said, I will lift up my eyes to the hills or to the mountains. I will check my position. I'll keep my head held up. Isaiah 40 verse 26 says, lift up your eyes on high and see who has created these stars. The one who leads forth their host by number. He calls them by name. And so in the book of Luke, for example, Jesus says, when you see the end times coming, lift up your heads, for your salvation draweth nigh. That's Luke chapter 21, verse 28. So there's something to be said for us looking up, keeping our position right, keeping our head held high. Don't be weighed down by the fear or the uncertainty. No doubt you're reading a lot of information during this time that can cause us to look down all the time and to be weighed down with fear or whatever it might be. But the psalmist says, I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills. Now the next part of that verse is actually a question, because he says, from where shall my help come? Now what I want to tell us here is not only do we pay attention to our position, but we check our perspective. And I want to note that our help comes from the Lord. He asks a question and he answers it. My help comes from the Lord who made heaven and earth. And then he says, this is who he is. He's the creator of everything. So I will lift up mine eyes to the hills. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the one who made the heaven and the earth. And then there's a third thing. You can pay attention to your position, check your perspective, and then trust your protector, and that is a capital P. Now listen to what the psalmist says. This is who Jesus is, and this is what Jesus does. He will not allow your foot to slip. Behold, he who keeps you will not slumber. Behold, he who keeps Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is your keeper. The Lord is your shade on your right hand. The sun will not smite you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will protect you from all evil. He will keep your soul. The Lord will guard your going out and your coming in from this time forth and forever. And so it's no wonder that this is one of the songs that they would sing as they went up to the Temple Mount. I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills. From where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord. And so he is our helper today. He is our helper always. And I want you just to be encouraged. Psalm 121. Read the rest of those Psalms. The Psalm of Ascents goes all the way, from Psalm 120 all the way to 134. So if you want to do a study on what they would sing as they were going to worship, there you go. So be encouraged today, and I'll be with you again tomorrow.